So the title of this video, I just took a deep breath. So the title of this video is the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to explain the blah, blah, blah in a minute. And I've been wanting to do a video on this for a while, but I just didn't, I was still like, I was like triggered. So I needed to get over the trigger and get on the other side of the trigger before I could actually talk about this. So let's go back to the word patriarchy. So you all, I'm sure you've heard the term patriarchy buzzing around. Patriarchy is falling, the patriarchy is no longer working, that these systems are breaking down. It's like we no longer are aligned with the patriarchy, all this stuff, right? I hear it all the time. I probably hear it once a day. And here's the thing, I agree. All of that's true. Most of the systems that we have going on right now are breaking down. Schools, government, medicine, the media, it's all breaking down, and it needs to break down. It needs to break down. And here's my understanding and version of the patriarchy. This is what, without Googling it, this is my understanding of it. That the patriarchy represents the Piscean age, which we have now moved into the Aquarian age, but it represents the Piscean age, the age where men conquered. It's the age of man, the age of, you know, misaligned power, misaligned leadership, control, drive, working like yourself to the bone, working in the mind, very mind, a lot of sexual like prowess, but at the same time being covert. But it's like this it's like almost, if you want to be real, like the shadow side of the man, right? The patriarchy. And there is the shadow side of the patriarchy, and some things have been working too, right? But right now we're in the breakdown, and women have been for many years been oppressed, and we still, in this country, the United States where I live, women still do not make the same amount that men do. Now, women-owned businesses are on the rise, which is awesome, but a lot of us are having some shifts and challenges with that because we've been plugged into the old system, and we're like, shit, this isn't working. Boom, let's figure out a way to work in the divine feminine. Now, the reason that the word triggered me, and I'm going to get to the underneath belly of it, is that I was finding that people, and this is my judgment, my projection, my feeling, right? That people were being a victim to the word patriarchy. Well, it's just the patriarchy. This is the patriarchy. It's like, let's go deeper. Let's not be a victim to the fall of the patriarchy. And instead, let's look at what's working, let's moving forward. Because I've seen a lot of people in my experience, not a lot, but a few not even clients, just people I've talked to over the last few months that, or been in groups or something like that, that they blame the patriarchy. Like, I'm doing this because of the patriarchy, or this is happening because of the patriarchy. It's like, yes, and what's your responsibility in it? Yes, and what's your part in it, right? Like, if we just keep blaming the patriarchy, we're not going to get anywhere. So that was the trigger. Now, I do have a lot of friends and people in business and clients that are not just talking about it, but are actually in action of shifting this so that we can move into the divine flow of things, right? Now, here is what I'd like to say and really land. As we're shifting from Piscean to Aquarian, as we're shifting from patriarchy to the I don't know what the opposite, matriarchy, the divine feminine, there's going to be a lot of wobble. Now, here's the thing where compassion gets to come in. And I know it's hard because I have been harmed, deeply, deeply harmed by men in my life. I have been sexually abused. I've been emotionally abused. I've been treated like crap by men. Now, I've also been sexually abused by a woman too. So there's both. But overall, most of my abuse came from men. Men have hurt me, and I love men. Like, I love men. My husband's a man, you know? They have been deeply programmed to rape. This is all in the male DNA, to rape, to pillage, to control, to be run by ego, money, their dick. Excuse me if that offends you, I'm sorry, but it's fucking true. been programmed to conquer, to be soldiers, to go to war. This is all that they've been programmed. And when you think about a little boy, those of you that are mamas or big sisters or even aunts or uncles, and you think about a little boy, I used to be a preschool teacher. Oh, the little boys that came in, they're so sensitive and creative. And you think about a little baby boy. They're not big. Yes, they're holding the DNA and all of that. It's like a pit bull, right? Pit bull is an amazing animal. It's an amazing dog. But if you train a pit bull to fight, it's going to freaking fight. But in its essence, a pit bull is one of the most gentle animals there is. It just has the ability to lock jaw and fight, just like a man. So when a boy is born, sorry, my dog's going cuckoo. So when a boy is born, you see the innocence, you see the creativity, you see the wonder. And that take that boy and you put him in a battlefield, call him to war and strap a gun on his back. He's a different person. He has lost that essence. So what we're doing is we are dealing with thousands of years. If I don't have the amount of time right, I please forgive me. I don't know much about the actual timing of history, but it's probably thousands of years of men being deeply, deeply programmed away from their soul light. And in result to that, we women, we have suffered because of it. So we have been programmed on the heels of their programming, right? I mean, original sin in the Bible is because Eve took the bite of the apple. Whether that story is true or not, look at what was set up. Look what was set up. It's intense. And that's all being taken apart right now. So I have compassion. I've worked towards forgiveness for my abusers, and then sometimes I have such judgment over some men, particularly ones that are making billions of dollars and they're, a CEO, and then their employees can barely put food on the table. Do I judge that? Hell yeah. But if I pull back and I look through the lens of compassion, and I actually pull back and look through the lens of deep programming that's happening and been happening on this planet in the matrix, so to speak, they're doing what they were programmed to do. And they're feeling deeply right now, whether it's conscious or unconscious, the unraveling of that. And if you are in partnership with a man, and I've noticed that some are just really feeling for the first time, and some of their, like my husband, like I'm not gonna tell you what's going on, but like he's really working hard at some of the stuff that's coming out from his childhood, stuff he's ignored, that's gotten so painful. He's like, I can't ignore this anymore. So he's working with a coach and a shaman. And when I get frustrated, I get to have compassion, and like he's doing the work to unwind from the patriarchy, right? From his past and the programming. So we are in a stage of deep programming. And if you can and you're ready, begin to look at the bigger picture, because many of them are so programmed. We all are. But we really have an opportunity here to let the programming go and come back to soul's light, come back to our connection to God, and come back to who we truly are as a species and as a soul. And we are not rapists. We are not people who love to be abused or alcoholics, or, we're not that. We are not that. We are way more than that. And in fact, we're brilliant. So we just got to be really patient as we're unwinding all this stuff. So the reason I said patriarchy, blah, 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 is because that was the title of the video, blah, 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 because I don't want to, my urge to, don't be a victim to it. Have compassion and shift. We are moving into the divine ways of being. And I'm a driver, like I'm a goer, I'm a doer, you know, so I kind of like that. But then I also see the downfall of it for sure, for sure. Right. But I've gotten addicted to that. I kind of like the buzz, and that does not help me either. That's a whole other thing. But like compassion and action. What are we going to do to shift it? What are we going to do to change? How are we going to step into the divine feminine and really, 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 really having space for the men in your life that are struggling? Now, if they're abusive, that's another thing, right? That's a whole other experience, right? If you, yes, you can have compassion for the part of them that got to the abuse, right? Because they weren't born an abuser. I mean, some people do bring things in from their past lives. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But they get, how do they get activated? Through experience, through trauma, through upset, right? Like I brought in stuff from my past life too, and it's like some of that stuff gets activated through abuse or whatever it is. And if you are being abused by a man, really ask yourself, why are you staying? Right? I mean, really looking at it, am I really supporting him by allowing the abuse to happen? Probably not. Right? So there's these big, big questions, but there's so much compassion. And it's not even about like, why are you staying? Because I know I've stayed in abusive relationships as well, and they're complicated. Complicated. And some are cut and dry, like I'm out. So have space, have compassion, but also have fierceness, because we are standing, we are at the precipice of massive, massive, massive opportunity to up level our consciousness. Okay, so patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. All right, love your men. It's hard sometimes. Trust me. Have compassion and know that many of them are working to get back into their hearts. Many of them are working to get back into their hearts. All right, my name is Beth Osmer, and I will see you on the next